Hello there everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of my tutorial series for Soulash 2. So today we're going to go over tool crafting and generally ordering stuff from other towns and interacting with the people there. We're then going to go back to our home place and work a little bit with the new things that we got, and I'm also going to talk a little bit further about progression, and then I gotta say, you pretty much know all the ropes that you need to explore the game further. There is a colony management add-on in the making that I will cover as soon as it is done. So for today, first though, we're going to go over to the local dwarves. Usually your local dwarves are the best source of metal stuff. Just checking out where to go. So I think it doesn't really make any big difference between one place and the other. Alright, as you see, we're uncovering more and more adventure sites, which is pretty cool because that's where we get our loot from. We're going to go into Kirindul Keep now. Dwarven cities are inside mountains. Who would have thought? So bring a torch, and the first person running along your way, you are going to ask that person for directions. We're now asking for the toolmakers. Find it in that lengthy list. Ah, there. So, toolmaker Z-1. So, we can ask for that, but mind you that this blip is only true if we are on the right height level. So currently we're Z0, and now we're Z-1. That's where we need to go. Alright, so now we need to traverse this nightmarish labyrinthine dwarven city, and then we can find the merchant in question. Jokes aside, I feel like these cities feel very organic and very realistic. I really like that, but sometimes dwarven cities can be a real pain to traverse. Okay, here we got the toolmaker. Every shop, every crafter in a shop can be asked to produce stuff for you, so you don't necessarily need to be an expert in all crafting trades. As a matter of fact, what you need is an expert to go to, so you can order your products at this point. Now, we're looking here, right, for a pickaxe. As you can see, the required tool for making a pickaxe is an anvil, and finding a location where you got an anvil available, that's the big deal. Now, when I click metal, I obviously don't have any metal on me right now, but we can here buy locally the metal that is available. Since I'm making a tool, I'm not going to go for the higher quality iron ingots. It's pretty cool that the stuff is here available, because that means we can go to the local weaponsmith, and order some cool weapons, or to the local armorsmith and order some cool armor. But for now, we're going to ask for the copper ingots, and as you see, I can automatically buy them and toss them into the crafting menu here. We're now going to pick up some of the wood. As you see, I'm carrying around some oak wood with me. I'm using that. Magic ingredients, you could use them, but as a matter of fact, I don't, because like I said, we're making a tool here, not a weapon. So, let's order that, and you see now we have a placed order. If you walk away now and press C, you see that the placed order is being worked on. You can even see this guy clinkering and clankering, or this woman here. If we wait long enough, you can also just have a sleep till the evening hours, and then you get that message. Kaleda managed to create, and she picks up. Now, the next time you talk to her, she's tossing that item into your inventory. Congratulations, now you know everything you need to know about ordering stuff from NPCs. It's that easy. You just need to find that person in question, bring the material, or buy the material locally, and off you go. And so, that's pretty cool. With that pickaxe, we are now able to mine wherever we want. Well, except for the already claimed villages. These places you are not allowed to grab any resources. They are very, very stingy people, aren't they? But with a pickaxe, you can grab a lot of other things. You should, over the course of the time, order yourself a tool maker to make all the other tools that they have available, because all in all, tools are just really cool because they enable you to do stuff. And with a hammer, you can build other stuff. With scissors, you can start tailoring, and every tool is pretty much worth making it. And with these, you can expand your home turf quite decently. I go for a pickaxe quite early on, and it has been mentioned in the comment section that you are well off picking the pickaxe right from the get-go and skipping the knife. That's a very wise thing to say, because knives can be made quite easily out of bone. As you see here, a bone knife can be made out of almost all mundane resources, but since I meant to show you the tool making thing, and since I think a knife is excellent for a beginner, because of the simple reason, when you're absolutely new to the game, a knife makes food, a pickaxe doesn't. And this is a really, really big difference in that regard, because when you don't know how the game works, it's quite easy to run out of food early on, and the easiest way to get food is to run into an adventure site and kill something. Obviously, you can also go foraging, and it is also quite easy to figure that out, but that was just my thought process behind that. So, another thing that I want to show you is that your character is able to wield two different weapon loadouts. So, you could easily, for example, field a bow, or throwing knives, or whatever. With Shift X, you are switching between your weapon sets, and it is very, very wise to use that, because at the end of the day, you won't be able to deal with everything just with one set of weapons, because the big thing about this game is that the easy locations lure you into the false assumption that the game might be quite easy. It's not. The moment you go into higher difficulty levels, the difficulty of the enemies spikes quite tremendously. Troublesome environment enemies have about 20 points of damage per blow, and many of them even can inflict damage over time effects. And to add insult to injury, they sometimes can even teleport in form of leap slams and stuff. So yeah, it is a very dangerous world out there. And if you really feel bad about permadeath and all those things, because you are investing quite a lot of time into each single character, high fantasy mode is way to go, because you don't need to be angry about the game killing you again and again because you didn't know how dangerous the enemies are. In high fantasy mode, you can learn how these enemies work and adapt to the threat at hand. So, just as an idea how you can deal with these issues. We would actually need a second torch for that loadout, so let's do that. Because throwing knives obviously can be wielded with a single hand. And since we are carrying that much firewood with us, let's pick up a second torch. Why not? Crafting in this game is something that you, well, how to put it, should use very organically and a lot. Okay, so let's out of reach. Here we go. So, well, throwing knives are obviously only a one-time gadget and then need to be picked up again. So, if you want to use these weapons more often, you would need to carry a some in your backpack. But softening up your enemy initially is a good idea. Check these guys out. They're killing me here. Always keep an eye out on your health bar. That's really, really important. So far, Soulash's progression now consists out of conquering more and more dangerous areas and keep going like that until you eventually die. The long-term goal, well, it's up to you. This game doesn't really give you any big goals in your hands, because it's a true sandbox game. I don't know how many things story-wise or narrative-wise will be added into. A rock. Alright. Rock has entered the building. This guy, by the way, these little rocks here now, since we have a pickaxe, we can chunk them up into stone. So this is where it all went into, but I just wanted to loot and pilfer another site, talking a little bit about the combat in the future. Also, since you have now a pickaxe, you can easily go for wherever you want to go. The other tool that I would strongly recommend you to craft next would be a shovel, because shoveling can be very, very lucrative as well in the desert and the like. Most of the furniture in these sites here is not lootable, by the way. It really freaked me out a lot when I was doing this for the first time and realized that there are barrels and stuff everywhere, but you can't actually loot them. And also, your personal tile, it depends from which direction you enter it. But the cool part about that is you don't need to worry too much about your building locations. I mean, I would say you should totally set up camp somewhere, like, for example, build a house somewhere at some point. But these stashes that you can craft as many of these as you want. They are universal access points to the local inventory grid, so to speak. And therefore, as far as I know, let's make another one of these because we are now tooled up. So there we go. We can now go for all manner of different things that we want to do. We could also now mine that tin ore down there and start a smelting business. It's pretty much up to you. Wait, what over here? Oopsie, not attacking, mining. There we go. Just like that, you start earning some serious money. Tools are enabling you to earn the serious money out there. And, well, can we carry that all? Yes, we can. And you will find stashes of various valuables in the pretty much any adventure area. I found gemstones in snake pits, and I found sapphires in a, or no, I think it was gold in a rabbit hole once. There's always good reason to carry a couple of tools with you. The only tools I would not recommend you to carry around at all times are the ones that are building related or related to crafting. So let's, for example, could now set up a stash wherever we please. Because in the cities, you see there are stashes as well everywhere. So here we can now access the same stuff as on the other stash. Now, when it comes down to building, the game is very, very simple. You have walls that you can just place down like that. You have the resources. Just get there and you start building. This way you also generate building XP. And now the only thing that we need to do is to find somewhere where there's stone lying around, grind some stone, and start working. Or you can now start building your own fantasy village or your own workshop. And, well, currently the game does not offer any randomly generated narratives that I know of. I gotta say, though, that I didn't drive down the difficulty levels of the game too deeply, out of one simple reason. For one, I get killed quite often because I'm a scrub, and the other reason is, simply put, I also don't want to burn out myself on this game before it is more done, so I'm actually holding myself a little bit back. The amount of locations that you can visit now is diverse, and it will pretty much kill you quite often. My pieces of advice here are, whenever you are unfamiliar with a location, enter it very carefully and try to only aggro one enemy of a local type at a time, because that way you can make sure that you can evaluate if you are able to take down the baddie or not. Also, try to keep always a shield slam at hand. I mean, not all enemies can be slammed back. I had to learn that the hard way, and therefore it is also a wise choice to consider turning something like athletics. I really don't know how this actually works currently. I would need to check that out. but every skill that is either stunning the enemy, slowing the enemy, or moving you somewhere else, these are all the skills that you should keep an keen eye out for, because these are your oh shit buttons when you're into something that you can't handle. Also, ranged enemies are really dangerous. They're seriously dangerous. You can wear, obviously, a lot of armor, and therefore grinding money, like I do here, for example, by just plucking berries and killing those oak trees here, is also a way to go. But mind you one thing, the Dwarven City that I visited, for example, they don't have an endless amount of iron. They don't pull that out of their arse. They do mine that. And if they don't have any more iron in their location, you need to find some other iron somewhere else. So in a grand total, you can't fully rely only on the cities outside, unless you get lucky and they have endlessly seeming pools of items. But all in all, not even the encampments have endless resources. That's what I'm trying to get down to. The rarer the material for your gear, the more this is the case. I want to talk a little bit though now about the armor system in general, because it is wicked. The armor system separates your body into head, torso, arms, and legs. Every blow has a distinct chance to hit one of these body parts. So you see you have the torso with a 36% chance, so highest likelihood, then arms and legs, and then lastly the head. The head is always the most vulnerable slot, because logically we can only wear minimal amounts of armor there, only a cloth piece and a helmet. That's that. The torso, on the other hand, has way more slots, therefore you can increase your armor rating there way higher. The same goes for the arms, but these are also quite vulnerable, and the legs. The problem with all that is it all shares 1 HP pool. We luckily don't have body part injuries or stuff like that. I personally find this system already very, very granular, and I personally don't like the fact that I don't have an averaged out armor rating, but it's the system that we're working with, not the system that we're wishing for. Now, that means the more general coverage of armor on your body, if you have body parts completely uncovered, really bad, because this makes the enemy sometimes hit like a truck. So your goal to go for the troublesome locations next should be to fill your inventory slots now with as many heavy armor pieces that you can possibly afford. Physical damage is always the #1 source of threat. This is always the stat that I personally find most desirable on armor, but sadly it is also the stat that makes armor generally heavy. So you got to balance that out, or you just go for a ginormous amount of strength and balance it out that way. But as you see here, playing the lumberjack and just cutting them oak trees is yielding quite a nice penny, and if you do that a couple of days, you can easily just go over to the local dwarven fortress and get yourself some fancy gear. I personally recommend to forge as much stuff as possible before you go for your first time into a dangerous environment. You might feel as if I'm over exaggerating here, but I'm not. They are really, really vicious, and you can get yourself into an easy first death if you don't prepare yourself accordingly. That's just the gist of it. I even would go as far to say, oh, cow leather for a new squatter skin. No, that's not what I'm going to say. That the troublesome environments are made to challenge you to prepare yourself properly before proceeding deeper into the game. And by all means, get yourself more than one freaking water skin. One is really not enough. I'm personally a fan of the triple water skin, but since your inventory space is limited, it's always a question of how much are you willing to sacrifice inventory slot-wise. So let's sell away our wares. And once you start allocating stuff that you're just grinding for the sake of earning money, I strongly recommend you to only sell it at places where the the value is quite good. Where you only get 37%, I'd really be recommending to wander somewhere else. I mean, sure, time is a valuable resource in this game because, you know, the more you travel, the older you go, and eventually you die off of old age. But it'd still be a shame if you only get a third the of what your work is worth, because that also ends up with spending more time. And at some point, well, you get the idea. Alright, so I will continue this series as soon as new features have been added, or you guys have a cool idea for another episode. I mean, certainly I've now talked so much about about the more dangerous environments, but I want to feature these probably after the colony management update, something like that, because, well, I don't know how the balancing changes. If it changes, I don't think it changes. The game dev behind this game is a wonderful person who believes in challenges, and I like that. So the weaponsmith is found at -2. We're going to go there. And yeah, I think at this point you pretty much know what you need to know to brave the game on your own. I don't want to spoiler away too much about how to resolve certain situations, and, well, that's why I'm not going to go for the combat tutorial right away, but I think I will after after we can actually manage a proper colony. I want to give you away what I know about the upcoming colony management. That is the last thing that I want to do this episode while I'm forging myself a new kick-ass sword, is that you will be able to build your own workshops of sorts, and the goal is that you get a ability to set down your own crafters at a spot where you want to, so you don't have to wander all over the world forever for your ordering jobs. So it's more of a base building type where you can for yourself select if you want to build a grain farm there and put up all the infrastructure for that, or if you want to just have a base camp that fulfills all your adventurous needs, or, you know, you can do a lot of different things. And the sandbox gameplay value of this game is really cool. So turns out this guy is not able to forge any swords. Darn dwarves. So yeah, that's another thing. So we're making ourselves a kick-ass axe, it seems. And yeah, my friends, they don't have leather. These dwarves. So you see, it all is a little bit more complicated, and we're going to continue next time when it is time to set up a colony. In the meantime, I hope you are enjoying the game as it is. Feel free to drop me in the comment section what kind of content you would find helpful for exploring the game further. I really think the most important things are now known. And yeah, let me know where I missed a spot, because it's always very easy to miss a spot. Oh, a flintstone. Fire starters! These are ones that I've been talking about. Alright, so I talked enough about the comment section. Leave a thumbs up on this video to make it more present in the algorithm, and of course consider subscribing, my good friends. I'd be very happy if you did so. In the description box, you will find the playlist link to the entire playlist of this series. And yeah, feel free to check out my Discord, check out my Twitch, or feel free to support Icon Gaming financially. I'd be forever grateful if you did. See you all next time, and thanks for being around. Bye-bye.